What if I told you a job alone will almost never make you rich? Not in the United States, not in the United Kingdom. And the scary part? Most people spend their entire lives believing it will. You study, you graduate, you get a job, you work harder, you earn more, and somehow you're still not rich. Why? Because the system is built for stability, not wealth. A job is designed to pay you just enough to keep showing up, but not enough to break free. And once you understand this, everything starts to make sense. Here's the first reality. Your income has a ceiling, no matter how hard you work. Because in a job, you don't decide your income. Your role does, your company does, your market does. You get raises, yes. Promotions, yes. But always within limits. Because there's a range, a salary band. And once you hit it, growth slows down or stops. And here's the twist. Your effort doesn't directly control your income. You can work harder, stay longer, do more, but your pay won't increase at the same speed because it's not designed to. And that's the trap. You think more work equals more money. Now it gets deeper. Even if your salary grows, there's another limit, your time. Because in a job, you're trading hours for money, and there are only so many hours in a day. You can't work 50 hours a day. You can't double your time. So your income can't scale infinitely. And that's the hidden problem. Because rich people don't scale time. They scale systems, assets, leverage. But in a job, your income is tied to your presence. If you stop working, you stop earning. Simple. And that means you're always one step away from zero, no matter how good your salary is. Now here's something most people ignore. Taxes. Because in a job, you don't just earn money. You earn taxable income, and in the United States and the United Kingdom, that matters a lot. Every time your salary increases, your tax increases too, meaning you don't keep all of your raise. A big part of it goes away before it even reaches you. And here's the twist. The more you earn in a job, the more you're taxed. So instead of accelerating, your progress slows down because a portion of your growth is constantly being taken out, automatically, silently, and over time. That adds up. Year after year, you're working more, but keeping less. And that's why a higher salary doesn't always mean faster wealth. Now this is where it gets dangerous. Because even if your salary grows, your freedom doesn't. Why? Lifestyle. As you earn more, you spend more. Better phone, better car, better house, better life. At least, that's what it looks like. But in reality, you're upgrading your expenses, not your freedom. Your bills increase, your responsibilities increase, and now you need that job even more because you can't afford to lose it. And that's the trap. You think you're moving forward, but you're actually locking yourself in deeper because the more you earn, the more you depend on that income, and the harder it becomes to step away. Now let's talk about security, because this is what most people believe. A stable job means a secure life. But does it? Think about it. Your entire income comes from one place, one company, one role, one decision, away from being gone. Layoffs happen, companies change, markets shift, and suddenly, what felt stable disappears. And here's the scary part. You don't control that decision. Someone else does. So your security, KTD, isn't really security. It's dependency. Because if your income stops, everything stops. Your lifestyle, your plans, your progress. And that's the risk no one talks about. Not having a job is risky, but depending on only one income is even riskier. So what do rich people do differently? They don't rely on one income. That's the first shift, because they understand something most people don't. Income is temporary, but systems can be permanent. Instead of depending on a job, they build sources, multiple ones, small at first, but growing over time. And here's the key difference. They don't just work for money. They make money work for them. Through assets, through investments, through businesses, things that don't require their constant presence. So even when they're not working, money is still moving, still growing, still working in the background. And that changes everything. Because now, they're not limited by time. They're not limited by one salary. They're not dependent on one decision. They've built leverage, and leverage is what creates wealth, not effort alone. And this doesn't happen overnight. It starts small, a skill, a side income, a simple investment. But over time, those small moves compound, and eventually, they create freedom. Not instant, but real. Because the goal isn't just to earn more, it's to build something that keeps working, even when you don't. So what should you actually do? Not quit your job, not take crazy risks. Just think differently and act smarter. First, keep your job, but stop depending on it. See it as a tool, not the goal, because right now, it funds your next move. Second, start building something on the side. Not perfect, not big, just something, a skill, a small income stream, anything that breaks the one income rule. Because the moment you do that, you're no longer fully dependent. Third, learn how money actually works. Not theory, not complicated stuff, just basics. How money grows, how it moves, how it multiplies. Because once you understand that, you stop making blind decisions. And finally, be patient, but not passive. Take small actions, consistently, because over time, those small moves become big shifts. And that's how it starts, not with a big jump, but with a small change in how you think and how you act. Now here's where it becomes real, because everything you've heard so far is simple, logical, clear, but knowing is not the same as doing. Because right now, you have two paths. The first one, do nothing. Go back to your routine. Wake up, work, get paid, repeat. It's comfortable, it's familiar, it feels safe, but it keeps you exactly where you are. The second path is uncomfortable because it requires change, thinking differently, acting differently, even in small ways. And that's where most people stop. Not because they can't, but because they won't. Because change feels risky, but staying the same, that's the real risk. Because time keeps moving, whether you act or not. And every year, you either move forward or stay stuck. And that decision is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. Now here's the truth most people never say. Jobs aren't bad. They were never the problem. The problem is, believing a job alone will make you rich, because it won't. Not because you're not working hard, not because you're not capable, but because the system wasn't built for that. It was built for stability, for consistency, for predictability. And if that's what you want, a job can give you that. But if you want more, freedom, control, real wealth, then something has to change. Not everything, just your approach. Because the moment you stop depending on one source, the moment you start building something of your own, even small, you step outside the limit. And once you see that, you can't go back to thinking the same way. You'll still work. You'll still earn. But now, you'll build as well. And that's the difference. So the real question isn't, can a job make you rich? The real question is, will you keep depending on it? Or start building beyond it?